Mr. Speaker, thank you for this treasure space to make this statement before you and my colleagues. Mr. Speaker, as captured in the vote and proceedings of Friday the 31st of January, paragraph 5 and page 7, you had cause to deliver a formal communication. With communication, you outline your displeasure on matters at the appointment committee on the evening of Thursday, the 30th of January, and the morning of Friday, the 31st of January. Mr. Speaker, indeed, your response to the event as a leader and the head of this assembly was indeed timely to assure the public that indeed this House is ready to uphold democracy and to do what is right in the eyes of the public. That notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, I had ferried to your office a memo dated the 3rd of February 2025 where I raised some procedural concerns regarding the outcome of your communication. Mr. Speaker, to couch the matters that arose in proper perspective, on the said day, the Thursday, the 30th of January, as per the practice, we had agreed to proceed to vet some 4 nominees. Originally, we were supposed to do 3. This 4 later changed to 5. Around about 10 p.m. of the evening, we had indications from our colleagues in the majority that they intend to continue the vetting for more nominees rather than agreed. Mr. Speaker, on the corridors of the vetting room were many people, including nominees, where our understanding was that they had all been invited. Mr. Speaker, there was no room for us to discuss the way forward, which resulted in our decision as the minority to protest. Our intention was to have a peaceful protest to express our displeasure at the excesses of our colleagues in the majority. We acknowledge that in the process, the situation got out of hand, resulting in the outcome you commented upon. We hereby assure you that we shall, as the minority, cooperate with you in upholding the integrity and the dignity of this House. Mr. Speaker, we also want to assure you that we will undertake a deeper, and emphasis mine, a deeper consultation and commit to this with our colleagues. Suffice to state that from day one that Mr. President started ferrying his nominees to this House, we have given this government our utmost cooperation. Mr. Speaker, record will have it that this is the first time in the history of our democracy that the minority has given the government such a cooperation to the extent that nominees are getting their confirmation in record time. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, I am on record to have made an application to this House under Order 3. This has never happened by any minority leader in the history of our democracy. We believe in constructive criticism. We are not in any way in to disrupt government business, frustrate them, or undermine them. Both parties have been in government before and have been in opposition before. We know that it is not through disruption that would win us power come 2028. It is through active, constructive politicking. Mr. Speaker, we have become aware of the consequences of orders you have issued as a result of the formal communication you have given. But this is what we have to say. And I quote from Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. Mr. Speaker, you remember the story of Shylock when he demanded his pound of flesh. A plea came from Portia, who was the supposed counsel for the debtor. Mr. Speaker, this is what he had to say, and I rely on it to mount the next line of my submission. That the quality of mercy is not strained, drop it as a gentle rain from heaven upon the earth beneath. It is twice blessed. Blessed him that gives and him that takes. Mr. Speaker, we cannot take your power to discipline from you. But we believe that when this is tempered with assurance that the way forward will be better, you will be able to reinstate our colleagues who temporarily have been denied access to this chamber and the precincts of Parliament. Ours is not to undermine your authority. After all, it is the confidence we have in you that made us by consensus to vote you into office. And we accept your authority. Mr. Speaker, we do not think that we should litigate this matter even on procedure. We are more interested in the outcome, which is not a desired outcome. Today, I, on behalf of my caucus, would want to assure the public that such an action will not be seen in the public space again. Mr. Speaker, I take full responsibility as a leader on my side on all actions that took place. I will therefore conclude by inviting you, Mr. Speaker, to, in the circumstance and with assurances given, to consider a rescission of the decision you communicated to the House, as well as all consequential matters thereto. Mr. Speaker, without more, I shall thank you for hearing me and resume my seat. Thank you very much.
We need your comments, and depending on how you want it to be handled, I would prefer it's handled at the leadership level, and not beyond that. But this is your house, and not only my house. I am duty bound to maintain law and order. And so I will allow the majority leader to have a say on this matter.
The popular saying is that to err is human. To forgive is speakerly. Mr. Speaker, as you can see, I have replaced divine with speaker. That elevates you to an almost godly stature. My colleague, the minority leader, has spoken. He has recounted the happenings of Thursday and Friday. So, Speaker, it is a fact that the first time His Excellency John Dramani Mahama nominated the first time the first set of ministerial nominees were announced was on the 9th of January 2025. Today, Mr. Speaker, is the 4th of February 2025. We are not yet even 1 month into the administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. But, Mr. Speaker, we have vetted and approved a number of ministers, but overall we have vetted and by the close of today would have approved 42 ministerial nominees out of 60. The reason why we are even at 42 is because since Friday we have not yet received any additional nominations. So in effect, we have finished vetting and hope to conclude the approval of 42 nominees to ministerial appointments. As a matter of fact, all those who have been nominated to serve as the cabinet of the government have actually been vetted and some approved by this House. This is a record performance that this House should be proud of itself. And we have done so in spite of the theatrics and the drama with the cooperation and support of our colleagues on the minority side. Even in the process, there have been some incidents. They are regrettable. And so, Mr. Speaker, I will support the appeal of my colleague, the minority leader, that you temper justice with mercy. I agree that your decision to suspend some colleagues was timely, and I believe that it has been understood by the generality of Ghanaians as a step that restored the image of this parliament. And so, Mr. Speaker, I believe that your action has achieved its objectives. But as you can see, our colleagues are remorseful. Our colleagues accept your decision in good faith. And our colleagues are appealing to you to to review your decision to suspend your suspension, to reconsider your decision to suspend. Mr. Speaker, it is not only members of the minority side that were suspended. In fact, the chief whip of the majority side was also suspended. So clearly the conduct was on both sides. And I also, on behalf of my side, appeal to you to reconsider your decision and lift the suspensions so that our colleagues can join us, whilst the other measures that you are putting in place so that long term we can ensure the orderly conduct of business in this House is achieved. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.